I legitimately thought these were a joke, and I just realized that my dishwasher is running, so this video might be a little noisy. What's up, guys? It's Lawrence, and today we have, I honestly thought this was almost like an April Fool's joke, but it's not. And this is a shoe specifically designed for slow runners. Super interesting concept. I'm not really sure why they need a shoe to help you run more slowly, but I assume the concept behind it is obviously tailored towards a different stride and things like that. There is a Tinker Hatfield video about why it works and how it works. I don't know how much onus I have for that specific thing, but it's there. If you guys don't know, Tinker Hatfield is probably one of the most famous shoe designers in the world. He gave you favorites like the Air Max 1, creating the first visible air unit. What I do love more than anything else is this mascot. It's only on the tissue paper. I kind of wish they put one of these guys on the actual shoe, but you can see a little sloth that's over here, and then you can see a little turtle guy right here, and you have the snail over here who has a shoe on the backside, which I thought was pretty funny. And so obviously they're playing into it. I don't know if it's, to me it's probably nothing more than a marketing ploy, but that's okay because that's what Nike does best. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the review of the CruzrOne. Let's start with upper like we always do. This mesh is super stretchy. It's very fabric-like, so I would say it feels less like it's I don't know what kind of textile it is, but it's definitely like a little less meshy and a little more fabric-y than your typical mesh that you would find on like Air Max 270. I really like it. You can see how much give it has when you're putting your foot in, which is obviously great for slow runners. But it's super comfortable. Then you have a fuse that's in the front over here that obviously adds reinforcement. And then you have a kind of separate lace cage, very similar to like a Presto, but it kind of extends all the way back into the rear over here, and it actually is glued down by a fuse back here. But you can see that this is actually detached from a little bit. So the upper itself is actually a one-piece booty that kind of is one piece, and then you have the separate piece for the laces. Interesting that they decided not to put the lacing holes in the upper itself because they've been doing that quite a bit. So I think this has to do with adding a little more stability around kind of the foot instead of kind of tightening up in certain places. It's the entire kind of midfoot area that gets this. So it's kind of cool. And then on the back over here, you have a polka dot based pattern, and it's also, I believe, done in a felt-like type material. I don't know if that's reflective. It's probably, no, it's just white. It's a white thing. The most prominent things on the shoe are in the middle. It's really hard to see, but it says CruzrOne with the Nike symbol at the very top over there, done in white. And the coolest thing is this kind of like Cookie Monster type of material that's on the sock liner that you can see over there. It's super, I thought it would feel luxurious, but it kind of feels like a shitty towel. So if you like putting your feet into shitty towels, this is the shoe for you, baby. I don't know the durability of the inside material here. It doesn't seem like it'd be very durable. But let's move over to the midsole. This is done in a all Nike React. I'd say it's pretty soft compared to maybe even your Epic Reacts, but there's a lot of it. You can see that it's really squishy over there. And so I honestly don't feel as much bounce back from this specific Nike React midsole. Maybe it's because of the kind of really aggressive outsole, which is done in a rubber, and it kind of extends all the way through the shoe, which obviously should add some traction to it. But because you don't have as much ground feel with the React, you might not feel that bounciness. I definitely didn't. But you know, if others are trying the shoe and you feel that bounce back, that'd be really good to know. The other main thing here, and I really kind of like what they did with the sole here, and this is what's really great about the Nike React technology compared to like a Boost or anything like that, is the ability to utilize the sole patterns and create something new, because it's a much more traditional foam than kind of the pellets. And so you have these really candy-looking dots that are in the middle. I kind of like it. It's gradient. It goes from dark to lighter. So what are my thoughts on the CruzrOne after wearing them for about 2 days? They're super comfortable. I would say that from a kind of comfort perspective, you get 8 out of 10 right out of the box, which is pretty rare. Most shoes you have to break in at least a little bit, but you slip these baby in. You know, it's relatively flexible in the forefoot. The upper itself is super gracious in terms of toe space. You know, the fact that this is a wider toe stance is also good for slower runners. But I didn't have any issues that some people have with kind of Nike toe boxes in general, which are a little narrow. Just for reference, like when I wear an Epic React or Pegasus, my feet definitely do extend the upper outwards a little bit, and I don't have that in this shoe, which is kind of good. The second thing about the sneaker is really the looks. The looks are, I don't know. I like from a top-down view, they actually look pretty good, but from the side, I don't know. This is much more traditional runner. I do like the fact that they have these like candy-like dots. I think it looks good enough to be a daily shoe, which is good, and you're probably going to end up utilizing these as like a walking shoe for the most part, because I don't really know what a slow runner is. And there's a lot of gracious React as well when it comes down to the sole. Look at how thick that is. I think it's over like an inch, maybe an inch and a half of React, which is a lot. I actually don't know any other shoe that has this much. I also did walking as well as cycling and a little bit of light running in these, and it held up well at the gym. Really nothing to write home about, but I think just overall all-day comfort, I feel like it's there, which is really good. And I think that's really all I have about the shoe. From a sizing perspective, I went true to size, and I think these fit really well. It does have a pretty wide stance, and so if you want to have a snugger fit, definitely go a half size down from your typical Nike size. For the most part, I think most people are going to have true to size, and it'll be fine. And that's really it. Any questions about the CruzrOne, leave them in the comments below. Are you a slow runner and do you know what that is? Definitely leave that in the comments below. If you like the video, obviously hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and if you really want to see more content, hit that bell icon on the bottom. But until next time, this is the slowest running shoe in the world, the Nike CruzrOne. Peace.